Hi, my name is Josh Head. I know what you're thinking. Are video games inclusive or exclusive to women or men? And I'm butchering those terms, so don't get me wrong. But I got a point here. My topic today is basically whether or not games are not that they're sexist, but do they include females enough on several types of female character and the type women want to play? Because whether it's sexist is a completely different issue to me. If you want more on this, see my video about geek culture and whether D&D is exclusive and exclusive itself. But I actually had some more to add to this. I generally think there are two problems right now that the geek culture is having on two fronts. The first is the feminist assault on gaming and other things, which is a completely different issue. So I'm only going to get to that briefly. Not to say feminism is a bad thing, but there's a lot of feminists I don't like. And there's a lot of MRAs I don't like either. So I will quantify that by saying that. Basically, I started this by watching the Jimquisition. He said that men are not objectified because they're ideals of men. Well, I think the ideal of men is that, or in this case, the ideal man that a man would want to play is the ideal that a woman would want to look up to and objectify. So, yes, a male character can get objectified. But at the same time, they're not objectified at the level that female characters are objectified in games. In my opinion, this is a problem, but not a sexism problem. For one, there are females that use this objectification to give themselves a female power kind of, what is it called when males, give me a second, I'll think of it. Oh, that's it, it's a power fantasy. And don't you tell me it don't exist, because, heck, I have a female power fantasy. So, therefore, one at least exists. But at the same time, I think there's a problem, though, because there's only those several stereotypes. Not to say that males don't fall under several stereotypes in gaming. But it just seems like developers are shunning using females in video games. I think they might have a decent reason. Not decent enough, by the way. The idea is that when you make a female character, people are going to be more judgmental of that character. Whether or not the character's overly sexualized or under-sexualized. Give you a hint. We pretty much want everything in a female character under the sun, which is probably a good thing. But at the same time, we put that onto one character. So they have to be sexual, but not overly sexual. They have to be smart, but not overly smart. They can't be a Mary Jane, but they have to be tough. At the same time, it's probably easier to write a male character. Not for me. I actually find it very harder. But then again, I'm not a video game writer. And that's the problem. Video games are having a problem of reaching that story and narrative level that books and movies have reached. And they're still working on that. And that shouldn't go too far, because there's games that do that and then forsake the game part of it. But they're still working on that. Which leads to the second problem. Females don't connect to video games and geek culture as much as males do. And we want to be more inclusive. We want to include more people. Video games and geek culture have become mainstream, and to a certain extent I would like some of that to come to anime, but not all of that, because for a while there we would have bad animes at that point. But I can recognize that the fact that there's probably not as much video games aimed at women. And this is a problem because the ones that are like childish, really pink, bubbly, color wrap kind of Hello Kitty kind of games. And not to say that there's some guys that wouldn't like that. Not even gay guys, not even metrosexuals, not just regular guys that would like that. But again, if that was the only choices you had in Gears of War, which one would you play? And yes, I know I made a joke earlier, or a video a couple years ago about Gears of Halo Kitty, but that would be the game I'd play. Girls, guns, outfit selection, and me killing thousands of zombies. Gears of Halo Kitty. That's what I meant by that. So we got all this in a cluster bomb of problems, and we have different sides of different issues, and we're smushing the issues together, and it's not helping anything. For one, the feminists are saying all games are sexist no matter what. The female prize in Spelunky is better than the male prize because, blah, 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 blah. It's a sexist identification because you swap them out with a dog. I'm quoting feminist frequency here. Doesn't that mean you could swap the male character that you save for a dog or a monkey or whatever? Because that's the new version of Spelunky I've never played. But, yeah, you could. If one's easily switchable with the other, then they both are. But at the same time, we have legit females that have the problem of only being served bubblegum pink games. And yeah, I know I haven't played a lot of video games in a while. I've been trying to work my way through the Persona series. But my ADD kicks in and I usually only play it, get obsessed with it for a while. I'm actually trying to coin the term softcore gamer because basically that's what I am. I become obsessed with it for a while and become a hardcore gamer, and then it works its way back off and I do books or something else. But that's beside the point. So I got a couple questions. What do you guys think of the whole feminist kind of movement to take over? They actually try to take over atheism, for Christ's sake. And that's not a good thing. It's like, yeah, you didn't have anything to do with any of these movements, and yet you want to take them over and then call everybody that doesn't think that you should be a part of these movement or be a part of the new movement, sexist, and that you're a devolved person. And then we have the legit people, in this case in gaming, that have a legit gripe would be underrepresented in a way they would want to be represented. If anything, I think the geek culture should be more inclusive and more accepting of different types of people. So those are my two questions. What's your solution for each of those? If so, hit me up. I won't put you in my riffs because this is not extra features on my riffs. Unless I ever become fascinated with a gaming movie, maybe. There's a couple gaming documentaries, but also on another note, I need to get back to doing the riffs I've been doing. So I've been kind of lackadaisical on that because someone gave me a review and they said I need to do more world building on my book. But again, I like to point out that I'm going to release my book somewhere around April, I guess. My next book. I'm guessing it's February, April, or May, or one or the other. May or April is what I'm trying to say. This has been Thinking with Your Head, signing out.